welcome. My name's Sam and this is The Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me today and welcome to our second card for this week's stamp set of the week, Sweet Bugs. Now this is an adorable stamp set. Comes with 22 images. No, she doesn't. Let's do it this way. It comes with 14 images and these adorable characters here, all stamp out, and you've got three sentiments. You've got the die set that comes with it. Now there are 22 dies. You can do toadstools as well, and you've got all these characters that cut out all of these characters there. But also with this bundle, we'll come back to this as the stamp set of the sentiments I'm using. Also with this bundle, there is the most gorgeous designer series paper. I'm just trying to reach across. There we go. The most adorable designer series paper to go with this. So I've got one sheet of each of these, but when you buy it, there's 12 in the pack, so you get 2 of each, 6 designs. So you've got these gorgeous toadstools. On the reverse, there is this checkered sheet. You've got so you've got blueberries and bumblebees and strawberries, and on the reverse you've got a checkered fat page. Then here we go, the bit that you would want to see. This is so gorgeous. You can make so many cards out of these, and these characters are wonderful. You've got like a little worm, you've got a cricket, you've got a ladybug, you've got ants, there's butterflies. There is just everything from the bug kingdom that you could possibly want, and in such a cute form. On the reverse of that, you've got another checkered background. Here we are is another one. Look at this. They're having a tea party. Oops, let's bring that down so you can actually see it. They're having a tea party here. They're using the cups from the blueberries from the bluebells. We've got dancing. We've got music. We've got a snail. It's just gorgeous. I can't enthuse about this more than I already am, I think. You've got a speckled backing on this one. Then you've got this, which you can use as different frontage for your cards should you wish to. So that is beautiful. If you turn it over, you've got the greenery on the back here, so you can use that. And then you've got this wonderful page. Now, it is gorgeous. There's so many things going on. The advantage of this page is the majority of these things cut out. If you've got the dies, you can cut out the images. So you can cut out the flower. You can cut out the toadstools. Then these, let's move down up here. You've got these. Let's see, I love this one's better. You've got these 3 characters that you can cut out. They are just so adorable. I have spent ages having great fun running this through my cut and emboss machine and just cutting them out. You've got the ladybug, they cut out, so that's the ladybug there. You've got the little creature there. What's that? A cricket. You can cut out all of the ants. You can cut out the flowers. You can cut out this worm. You can cut out the purple worm. You can cut out the watering can. Everything can be cut out from this page, or you can use it as is. Right, so this brings on to our card for today. Now, it may look like it is a simple card, but this design is perfect for this kind of paper. You've got 2 sides that you absolutely love and you don't know which one to use. So you've got cardstock here, and then you've got the paper on the other side. And then, of course, when you turn it over, people can see all of the beautifulness on the inside as well as the outside. So this is why this paint card is perfect for today's design. So let's bring in there we go. Bring that in, and then we can bring in our supplies. So I have got, she says, I have a piece of Blackberry Bliss. Now this measures 5 3/4 by 5.5. Let me just double check. That's 5.5 by 5 3/4. Okay, then I have my little characters I've already cut out. So I've got the beautiful purple worm, I've got the bluebells. Why do I keep saying blueberries? I've got a bumblebee, and I've got a watering can, and then I've got a ladybird reading her book. So they are all cut out from that previous paper. So this is our card base. Then I have a piece of crushed curry. Now this measures 3 3/4 by 5.5. Then I have a piece of white cardstock. This measures 3.5 by 5.25. Then I have 2 pieces of designer series paper. So the first one is 3 7/8 by 5 3/4. So then you can turn over and you can see all these beautiful mushrooms on the, or toadstools on the reverse. And then I have a strip of designer series paper, which is 1 inch by 5.5 inches. I have sentiment. So let's do the sentiment strip. So this is 1 by 1.5. And then the Blackberry Bliss layer is 1 1/8 by 1 5/8. And the stamp set you saw earlier, which was the reason to celebrate, I am using the happy birthday from that. And of course, I'm using Blackberry Bliss. So, oh, she says, moving her chair. Let's get down to creating this beautiful card. So the first thing we need to do is just push these aside, is to bring in our trimmer and scorer. Okay, so on the 5.5 inch side, so that is the 5.5 inch side is at the top, you're going to move it to 4 inches, and then you're going to score it with your blade or your scorer. Okay, and then that will fold over like that. Let's bring in a bond folder so we can burnish it. Perfect. Right, so we're going to stick down our crushed curry onto the inside. So that's that bit over there. So this is the inside of the card. There we go. It is quite a quick card. So with all this beautiful designer series paper, you could actually make quite a few of them. There we go. So that's that one. Then we're going to stick the inside layer on top. There we go. Give that a little wriggle to make sure that is straight. Pop that there. Then I'm going to take my 1 inch by 1 5/8, and I'm going to stick that down onto the outside of the fold over section. So let's just do a little bit there. And I'm using my Stampin' Seal for this. Okay. Okay, so there is the piece of designer series paper, and now we're going to stick down our second piece of paper of DSP. Now, first things first, make sure you've got it the right way round. So it will, when you open it, it will look like that. So laying it flat down, this edge and this edge need to butt up to each other. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to stick your glue onto there. Okay, holding that down with your right hand or left handing, depending on how you work, making sure your paper is straight. You're going to bring this over and run it down. Okay, so that has created your card. You just make sure it is straight and all there. Okay, so it matches up to the edges of your card, like so. So that is the basis of this card. You just now need to add your decoration. What I'm going to do is I'm going to burnish it again. There we go, and it should stay a little flatter. So we can now add our characters that we've cut out from the designer series paper. And I've got my little bumblebee and my watering can, so he can be watering the bluebells. So the only thing before I stick those down is I want to make sure that I get my sentiment on first. Right, so as I said, I'm using the Happy Birthday from Reasons to Celebrate, and I'm using the Blackberry Bliss. So what I find to do is to add the birthday first, because that's the larger of the two. And then I'm just going to bring that down. Now there's the birthday. And then you can pop the Happy on top. There we are, look at that, perfect. Put that closed before I stick my finger into it. And then we can glue that down over the top. And I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of that. And I'm going to put, oh, come on you, there we are, on there, and on there. Take that off. Whoops. So let's stick the Happy Birthday down first, but not onto me. Oh my goodness gracious me. Right, let's have a look. I'm going to pop it there this time. So it's slightly higher than the previous time. Let's bring that in. As you can see, it's a little bit higher, this one. And then I'm going to bring in my characters and my flowers. There we go. And I plan to have most of those up on dimensionals. So let's add dimensionals to our worm. Put 2 on the leaf. And then we can do 1 at the bottom, 1 on his head, and 1 in the middle. There's quite a few dimensionals on that, but the reason, or my thinking behind it, is because it is designer series paper. It's not as thick as not as thick as cardstock, so it's just going to give it a little bit extra support. He can go there. We're going to do the same with our flowers. So let's bring those in. I'm going to bring in my scissors, and I'm just going to cut up these small pieces, because I don't think I'm going to be able to use an entire looking for my pointy tool, but it seems to have disappeared. An entire dimensional on each of the flowers, so I'm just using the small ones. 2. Good job I've got long fingernails today. And there, and then the last one can go there. So let's take those backings off. And then you can position your bluebells. There we go. Look how pretty they are. Now let's do our bumblebee. We'll just put 2 of those on here. 1 for his head, or her head, and 1 for her body. And then that's going to sit there. And I'm just going to glue this one flat. Just a tiny bit of glue on the bottom. I'm going to use that. And then I'm just going to position it there. I hope he's not going to get the worm wet. There we go. And that is as quick a card as we can do on a Wednesday. But I love them both. I love the papers and I love the design. Oh, I've forgotten my ladybug. And then what I'm going to do is pop her onto the inside just to here with a tiny bit of the glue. A little bit of glue, there we go. And she's going to go inside. So there we go. Look at that. Perfect. Beautiful cards. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Do join me on Friday for our final card. And of course, it will be a funky fold. Thanks ever so much. Take care. Bye.